Hello and welcome to TA for Traders. It's Friday the 27th of October. In this video we're going to look at 2 UK stocks and 2 US stocks. We're going to concentrate on companies that have come out with figures. So in the UK we're going to look at RBS, code RBS. We're going to look at International Airline Group, which obviously among its holdings holds Iberia and British Airways. The code there is IAG. We're then going to go to the States. We're going to cover Exxon Mobil, which is the code XOM, and we're also going to look at 3M, which is the code MMM. Let's look at those charts. Okay, so starting with Royal Bank of Scotland, and you can see that this week it's gone up to the resistance of the downtrending 200-week moving average, and that should hold the rally for the short term. However, we did have a good flag that found support at the 20-week. We've now moved up, found this resistance, so I would expect another flag. In the longer term, let the 200 start to unwind its fall and then start to move up, and then we could have then a push up to the next resistance level, which is seen this trading back in October 2015, just above the 320 level. Momentum is strong. The RSI is at 67.16 and the MACD are moving in a bullish formation indicative of upside momentum. On the daily picture, you can see that we've moved up to a new high on this chart today, although we have now come off. We opened at about 286, moved to a high just above 290. We're now trading down at 282. It was positive on the 29th of September when we had this golden cross on the 2050. So there's been no surprise of the move up since then, and we are now falling back to the support. This chart doesn't look as bad, and you obviously can't see the 200 week on here. If on this chart alone, actually you'd be a buyer when it came back towards the 280 and the support of the 20-day. Momentum is still strong. RSI 67.87. Although the MACD short term has now moved back below the long term, so keep your eye on that. On the 4-hour picture, again, doesn't look so bad on this chart. We're coming back to the support of the 20 again, with the 50 below there. They're moving up in a nice parallel formation. Momentum, we have had a non-confirmation on the RSI, so be aware of that, but the RSI is still above 60 and the MACD is kind of confirmation of that non-confirm as they track down. No negative momentum yet, they're still above zero, but be aware of that. The warning would come if the 20 and 50 don't hold, then that we would be RSI below 50, definitely negative momentum, and the whole picture would change. Going on to British Airways, International Consolidated Airlines, code IAG, and you can see that we did break into new high ground. We've since come off. Moving average moving up well, gave support back in July and then gave the push up that we needed. Momentum again strong, RSI 61.34 and the MACD short term is above the longer term. On the daily picture, you can see that we're consolidating today on the figures. We did come back to the support of the 20-day. That's at 633.69. We did find that support today, which was positive. The moving averages did have a bullish cross on the 17th of October. So we would hope that that 20-day will hold. There's likely to be a consolidation around this given the extent of the fall today, but the bullish picture does remain in place. Obviously momentum has fallen heavily. We didn't have a non-confirmation on the high yesterday. The RSI was higher, which was good. Obviously we're falling heavily today. It's come right back to 52.27, but still is indicative of positive momentum. MACD short term is still above the long term, although it will go below on Monday. And on the 4-hour picture, here we're finding support at the 50 on the 4-hour. We fell below the 20. We opened on that support level, but we've fallen down below it. So be aware of that. There was bullish formations on the moving averages, so one would hope that they will hold. Momentum has been lost completely, as the RSI is now down at 39.33, and there was a confirmation which now has been confirmed. So if the 50 doesn't hold, the momentum picture will take us down to the 200 on this 4-hour, which is at 611.85. But for the moment, I'm hoping that these moving averages will hold. Moving across to America, Exxon Mobil, you can see that we're still in a downtrend. The upper boundary is now up at the 88 level. I've drawn it on there for you. You could draw a parallel, which I'll do now. If you draw the parallel, that will give us round about there the downtrend. So you can see the extent of the downtrend and where the barriers are. So we're mid-range in the downtrend. It's quite good that we've broken up above the resistance of the 20 and the 50-week moving average. The upper boundary, not only with that line, but also with the 200-week. Momentum strong, RSI 59.37, and the MACD, the short term, just moving back above the long term as well. On the daily picture, you can see that we're at some resistance. The resistance, there's 3 resistance points from March, 2 in March, that's the 30th of March there, and then in June, that's the 16th of March there. So these highs are causing resistance. We have got solid momentum, so it'll be interesting to see what happens. And MACD is at a high level as well, so let's see how it copes with this resistance. However, given the picture on the weekly, I would expect some consolidation. Let the 20 catch up, and then we'll see what happens. On the 4-hour, you can't see the resistance here, but obviously we're up at that resistance level, getting a push up from the 20 and the 50. They're the keys. We have had a slight non-confirmation on the RSI, but it is at high level and just is bumbling along up there. If the 20 doesn't hold, we might see a collapse in RSI, so be aware of that. And the MACD are flatlining as well, so be aware that if this 20 doesn't hold on the 4-hour, that could be the first warning sign. Moving on to the last stock we're covering today, that's 3M. They've come out with figures today or last night. The weekly does still look okay, although we are slightly overextended from the 20 and the 20 moving average. RSI is high, but not as high as it was on the previous high back in June, so be aware of that, but still showing positive momentum, and the MACD as well showing positive momentum. However, if you look at this daily picture, you can see that before the figures we had a bearish engulfing picture on the daily, with yesterday's body encompassing all of the Wednesday's trade. That's a bearish sign. Now, we did have a gap created on Tuesday with this jump up from 221 to the open at 228. If we go below 228, technically we will fill the gap down to, I'll just tell you the high of that day, which would be down to 230, where are we? There we go. Which would be 222.78. So be aware of that if we fall below 228.7, we would fall to that level. So it's very important today and Monday's trading. Otherwise, the moving averages are moving up okay. Obviously, we've lost momentum with yesterday's fall, but it's still at a high level. RSI at above 75. And finally, looking at the 4-hour picture, again we had an engulfing candle, and we've had a follow through on that to the downside. Here you can see the gap, and it's all important that we don't fall below the low of that level. Otherwise, we will see a fill of the gap, and that would then get us to the support of the 24-hour moving average. RSI may be starting to create a downtrend, 67.35. MACD, the short term, starting to roll down now. So I know I rattled through the stocks and perhaps talk too quick, but I hope you got the key elements from those videos. You can always rewind and have a look at the individual charts as I talked about them, and do your own analysis as well. Many thanks for watching the video. If you're not a subscriber to my YouTube channel, press the subscribe button. You then get email updates when I come out with other videos. Not only do I cover the single stocks, I also cover FX, commodity and equity indices. Please be aware these videos are for information only and are not an investment recommendation.